I'm looking around my room to see if there's literally anything I can do for the comedic intro. I have a balloon. I have nothing. I got nothing. I've talked in many videos about my predictions for the Ruin DLC. However, I haven't made a video specifically dedicated to the DLC besides my fan pre-write video, in which I included a couple things that were questionable to some people. So in this video, I'm going to be explaining all of my predictions and also ideas that I don't expect but are possible, justifying why they make sense and how all of it works. In FNaF Frights, Afton comes into contact with a bunch of different infected objects to become the Afton amalgamation. At the end of Princess Quest, we see Glitchtrap, but he looks different to how we see him normally. There's a bunch of pieces that don't match his body, including eyeballs and bunny ears on random parts of his body, similar to how the Afton amalgamation is described in the books. But if we compare Princess Quest Glitchtrap to the blob, a lot of things actually match up. Here's all the similarities. Plus, the blob actually uses tentacles to attack us. In Princess Quest, this Glitchtrap reaches out to Cassidy with tentacles, solidifying this connection. But there's more. In the third Tales from the Pizza story, named Under Construction, a lot of weird stuff happens. The whole story takes place within a dead girl's mind as she is trapped in an AR headset living in a dark reflection of the world, where literally the entire world is affected by cancer, and all the newborn babies are jelly blobs that combine together, are born at an abnormal rate, grow at an abnormal rate, and multiply. The main character, Maya, doesn't realize that she's in a simulation, and she's completely appalled by the fact that she is the only one who saw how insane the situation is. Her entire family is killed, but after that, the jelly blobs flood into Maya's house, and she tries to escape to her garage, forgetting that she hadn't closed it before, and it was now full of jelly blobs. They cling to her, and strangely, even though she can't breathe or anything, she is still alive. She has no clue how she's alive, and what's even weirder is that when she and the jelly blobs literally merge together, it feels as if they incorporated her into them, as if they had been seeking her out, as if she had completed them. To me, this all seems to represent the idea of Afton and the blob combining together. While in the story Maya doesn't die because she's already dead and trapped in a simulation, it could be a representation of William Afton still being alive after all this time. Or, well, not alive, but just free and still kicking it despite being dead for years. The Funtime animatronics and Molten Freddy also have the spirits of the original 5 missing children in them. But in the fourth closet, we see that William has inserted himself into this remnant. Since I believe the blob to contain the missing children's spirits as well, as it basically is just Molten Freddy with extra stuff, if Afton and the blob combined together, it would be like the pieces of Afton's spirit are being reunited. Like Afton completed the blob, just like Maya completed the jelly blobs. So basically there's stuff referred to as blobs, combining together with someone who cannot die and who completes the blobs. That really seems to tie together with Afton and the blob combining together to become the Afton amalgamation. The blob also has 3 of Bonnie's left arms, implying that the animatronics in the blob are not the originals, but just FNaF AR versions of the animatronics, which are possessed by Glitchtrap. Therefore, if Afton and the blob combine, the pieces of William's soul will be reunited. This is all to say that in the Ruin DLC, William and the blob will combine and form the Afton amalgamation. However, in the 7th FNaF Frights epilogue, William in the form of the Afton amalgamation is actually his last outing, and it's the first time we are introduced to Eleanor as the main villain. This could imply that the Security Breach DLC will be William's final outing, and will set up someone else, possibly a similar character to Eleanor but portrayed slightly differently, like Elizabeth in a New Body, who I believe to be Patient 46, who is a character committing evil in the shadows, just like Eleanor in the Frights. So this DLC could possibly set up Eleanor as the main villain, or not Eleanor, but a similar character. There's a lot of scrapped content in Security Breach, some relating to lore and some not. For example, we have Survival Mode and the Vanny meter, which show for a fact that Vanny and Vanessa are the same person, but we also have stuff in the trailer, like Vanessa helping Gregory, though we've never seen that in the game, and that's kind of weird. Why would that be in the trailer if it didn't end up in the game?
Gregory, we can get you out of here. You and me together.
But was that really scrapped? Well, despite it being worked on for years, Security Breach was really rushed, and that is mostly the fault of the fans getting mad because of all the delays. That resulted in a fairly rushed game with a lot of content Steelwool couldn't incorporate into the final game, but that doesn't mean we will never see it again. Things like Glitchtrap's voice and Vanny helping Gregory could very well still happen in the game, but it could have just been saved for the DLC. Recently, the images on the Security Breach Steam page have been updated, showcasing better graphics and probably teasing an improvement on the graphics for an upcoming update. But what I want to focus on are these images. Here's the first image. This image showcases the shattered versions of the Glamrocks. This is the new updated banner on the Security Breach Steam page. The interesting part of this image, though, is that there is an image of shattered Freddy here. This is very interesting because while you may not remember initially, we actually have a shattered Freddy in Security Breach. At 6 AM, when Freddy and Gregory are at the doors, Freddy says that he fears something else is going on besides Vanny. However, Gregory and Freddy only learn Vanny's name if you go to Fazerblast, meaning that is the canon path. But that also means that they haven't gone to Monty Gulf yet. They haven't destroyed Monty yet. But in the Vanny ending cutscene, Freddy has Monty's claws.
That was just
Wait, do you have Monty's claws?
No.
This led me to the conclusion a while back that the Vanny ending actually happens after the Afton ending, and because of the fact that the Ruin DLC definitely seems to be right after the Afton ending, it seems like in Ruin, that's when the Vanny ending will happen. But it seems like initially, Gregory's attempts to play Princess Quest fail, and Freddy is disassembled by the staff bots. After Freddy's disassembled, this is what he looks like. It's the same design as the shattered Freddy, with only a couple minor differences. What you have to remember is that all of the endings of Security Breach were supposed to be fully animated, but because the game was being rushed towards the end, they can only animate a few. But it still stands to reason that the models had already been made for the ending cutscenes. This shattered Freddy animatronic has already existed, and what it seems like is going on is that Gregory fails to stop Vanny, and Vanny takes Freddy and infects him with Glitchtrap, causing Freddy to turn on us. Freddy would now end up being the most dangerous animatronic to face because he knows us so well, and also because of the upgrades. You wouldn't be able to hide from him because of Roxy's eyes, and he has Monty's claws. Turning Freddy into an antagonist would make the DLC more challenging. Also, remember how I just said Freddy has Monty's claws in the Vanny ending? Well, what do we see on Freddy's hands? In this shattered animatronic image, claws. And keep in mind that Monty is the only character with claws, which is the very reason we have to upgrade Freddy with them in the first place. Everything seems to be lining up. Also, since Ruin depicts the Pizzaplex as being destroyed, it doesn't seem like all the lights and stuff in the building will still be working, so that could give us the opportunity to utilize our flashlight more. In the original Security Breach, I feel like the flashlight was never really actually necessary. In some cases it helped, but you didn't exactly need it. But with the whole Pizzaplex being dark, it could be a great opportunity to have to actually use it a lot more, and it could help make Security Breach actually scary. In a recent interview, Steelwool confirmed that they want more scary and dreadful moments in Ruin, like the Endo and Moon sections. But interestingly, this idea of having to use the flashlight actually comes into play when talking about the other image. Here, we can see an image of Vanny shushing us and being lit up by a flashlight. More interestingly, there are the arms of endoskeletons reaching out towards Vanny. A while ago, I came up with the theory that the kids that Vanny killed possessed some of the endoskeletons in the Pizzaplex, some of which were melted together and infused into Afton to help him grow back some of his organs, which is why we see flesh growing over his endoskeleton. This is just speculation and could be nothing, but the fact that the endos are reaching out towards Vanny could imply malicious intent in that they are trying to kill her because she killed them. It could even be teasing the downfall of Vanny. Maybe the endoskeletons go after her, giving Gregory the chance to go play Princess Quest and set her free, and then Vanessa could help us for the rest of the DLC. I don't know, but it's interesting to think and speculate about. Overall, this news is pretty interesting. While these images seem to be for an upcoming Security Breach graphics update, maybe making the ending cutscenes animated, it is weird that these images don't have anything to do with the actual Security Breach game. See, while Shattered Freddy is in one of the comic cutscenes, he only exists in death, but here, he seems to be alive and well, and I guess it could just be a way to show him, but I just find it a bit weird. The image shows Freddy in a way that, to me, seems to depict him as an antagonist, alongside the other antagonists, but I could be wrong. While the images could only be for a future update, to me it seems like a bit more than that. So if the Princess Quest ending is in Security Breach, that would imply Gregory is the protagonist. But then, what about the Ruin Girl? Shouldn't she be the protagonist? That seems to be what we're being led to believe, but consider that the same thing happened with the original Security Breach game, where until the trailers we were led to believe that the security guard would be the player. Until the trailer came out, Gregory was revealed, and the guard was revealed to be Vanessa. It could be that the Ruin Girl isn't actually a protagonist, but is actually Patient 46, and if Patient 46 is Elizabeth, then it makes sense why this girl looks so similar to Elizabeth, and why it's a little girl since Patient 46 is female and is implied to be a child. Elizabeth also uses illusion discs in the books, and if Eleanor is meant to represent Elizabeth as being a future villain, then it makes sense since the story with the Afton amalgamation is the story where Eleanor is revealed, so if the Afton amalgamation is in the DLC, then Patient 46 likely will be too, and will be set up as the next main villain, like I said. I think MatPat's idea of the DLC being returning to memories of the past through memories of William and his murders would make sense, but not in the way that he thinks. Elizabeth is obsessed with pleasing her father, which is why she is evil. She wouldn't want to set him free, she would want to keep him around, and if he's gone, she'd try to continue his work. If the Ruin Girl really is Elizabeth, she wouldn't be the one to try and set him free. In the 7th epilogue, Larson is infected with a piece of Afton's soul. It could be that in escaping the Afton amalgamation, Gregory is infected with Glitchtrap, causing him to have visions of Afton's past, and he is the one who has to set Afton free. There's also not really any way that Gregory and Freddy could make their way up and out of the cave by FNaF 6. However, it is very likely that the FNaF 6 building was a repurposed Fredbear's Family Diner, as I've talked about in videos before. So if that's the case, then the Afton household is near the FNaF 6 building. So it is possible that Gregory and Freddy find the house and make their way down to Sister Location and find a way up to Michael's house, bringing us back into the main Pizzaplex, which has been struck with basically an earthquake. And finally, there's the thing that a lot of people were confused about in my Ruin pre-write. The Twisted Ones. The Twisted Ones has a lot of parallels with Security Breach. Both showcase William trapped in a Freddy's location that had a mall built over it, and he's controlling animatronics from down there. There's a wolf in both, and in both there's a core member of the original band missing. In the Twisted Ones it's Chica, and in Security Breach it's Bonnie. But even though they're missing, we know in both cases that they do exist. Monty loses his legs. In the Twisted Ones, the first time we see Foxy, he is missing his legs. So you could see these parallels, right? The Glamrocks have connections to the Twisted Ones, being controlled by William Afton in order to capture a character who is also a robot, or at least in the case of Gregory, probably is. So because of that, I included an idea of the Glamrock animatronics becoming the Twisted Ones in my Ruin fan pre-write. But now thinking about it, I don't really think they will literally become them. But I do believe that they are meant to parallel each other, and I think that could support the idea of Freddy becoming evil. And like I said before, I think that would make it a lot scarier, a lot harder, and it would be kind of emotional too. So those were all my ideas of what could possibly happen in the Ruin DLC. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, then please do leave a like and subscribe if you want to. Let me know what you expect to happen in Ruin, and also what you want to happen. But anyways, that's all, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye guys!